Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and fellow researchers. It is an honor to be here today at the 7th Borobudur International Symposium on this date, December 10, 2025. I'm here to present our latest research titled Mapping the Ar-Rahn Contract from its classical issues to its current problems. This paper is a collaborative effort run by myself, by Ismail as a co-author, and Fauzan Mohammadi as the first author. We represent the Department of Law, Faculty of Law at Universitas Ahmad Dahlan. In the next few minutes, I will take you on a journey through the evolution of Islamic pawn broking of or Ar-Rahn, starting from the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, all the way to our modern technology-driven era. We will explore why a new mapping of this legal issue is not just interesting, but urgently needed for Islamic jurisprudence today. Let us begin with the fundamental concept. What exactly is Ar-Rahn? In Islamic jurisprudence, Rahn is defined as a contract that allows a person to secure a loan by providing valuable goods as a collateral. Ideally, it acts as a security mechanism, giving the lender confidence that their money will be returned while giving the borrower access to liquidity. The legitimacy of this contract is undeniable in Islamic law. It was not just theorized, it was practiced by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him himself. There is a famous narration stating that the Prophet purchased food grains from a Jewish merchant on a credit. To secure this debt, the Prophet mortgaged his own armor to the merchant. This historical event is crucial because it sets the legal precedent of interfaith economic transaction and establishes the permissibility of collateral. From this prophet example, Islamic scholars derive the structure of the contract. They identify four essential pillars that must exist for a rahan to be valid. Rahin, the first pledging to collateral, or the borrower. Murtahin, the receiver of the collateral, the lender. Marhun, the goods being used as a collateral. And Marhun B, the underlying debt or obligation. During the classical period, when the great Islamic schools of law or madhabs were thriving, scholars extensively analyzed these four pillars. They compiled comprehensive laws and concluded rulings on almost every possible issue that could arise with these pillars, whether the goods were lost, damaged, or how to handle the debt. At the time, the legal framework was very robust for their specific content. However, time does not stand still. While the classical compilation of issue was perfect for its time, this issue have developed significantly in our current situation. The core principle remained, but the environment in which Rahan is in practice was changed dramatically. This brings us to the core problem our research addresses. There's a gap between classical text and modern reality. Therefore, we believe that initiating mapping of Ar-Rahn issue, tracing them from their classical roots to their current problem is urgently needed. We cannot simply copy past classical rulings without understanding the new context. Why is this mapping so critical? Because the map issue we process can serve as a foundation for future research development. We aim to provide charted issue that act of a reference guidance. This guidance has two main purposes: to help practitioners overcome ongoing issue in Islamic finance industry Second, to ease the burden on Islamic scholars when they are generating new laws or generating the laws or issue fatwas. Without this map, the legal derivation process becomes much harder. Now, let me explain how we constructed this map. This research is strictly qualitative study. We focus on a secondary data as our primary source of information. We conducted a rigorous review of the various references. This included academic journals, books, research reports, and even granted patent to understand the modern technical side of collateral system. For the classical perspective, we ensured authenticity by gathering data through a prominent digital tool known as the Maktaba Shamila application. For those unaware, this program is a massive digital library that contains thousands of classical Islamic law books or fiqh. This allows us to access the original arguments of early scholars. All this data was then analyzed and described qualitatively, utilizing a conceptual approach and content analysis draw lines of connection between the past and the present. After analyzing the data we find our study led to several key conclusions regarding the trajectory of Ar-Rahn. The first classical baseline we found that classical jurisprudence provide us with a solid operation output. It tells us how to contract applies in traditional setting and highlight the outcome issue derived from its implementation centuries ago. This is our starting point. Second, the modern shift we observe that these classical legal outcomes have not disappeared. Rather, they have developed nowadays into new settings. The fundamental risk like a default or damage or to collateral still exist, but they look different now. Third, the technological factor is perhaps the most critical finding within the technological improvement of the modern era. The operation of Ar-Rahn now faces additional legal problems. Self-correction or ad-lib. For instance, when collateral is a digital or the transaction happens on an app, a new question arises that classical scholars never had to answer. Consequently, the ultimate output of our research is the creation of flow-charted map. This map visually traces the path from classical to current issues. It provides a systematic connection that scholars can follow. By seeing this connection clearly, legal expert can generate normative legal solutions that are both faithful to Islamic tradition and application to modern world. In a conclusion, that Ar-Rahn contract is a dynamic instrument while its pillars are fixed in history, its problem are fluid and evolving. Our research attempts to bridge that gap through systematic mapping. We hope this map serves as a valuable tool for all of you, scholars, practitioners, and researchers. Thank you very much for your time and attention. We eagerly wish for your encouraging suggestion for further refine this work during the Q&A session. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.